You walk into a room.
Before anyone speaks, your brain has already finished scanning everything.
An avoided glance.
A forced smile.
A sentence that sounds perfectly normal, but underneath, it's heavy with hidden, fake energy. A sentence that sounds perfectly normal, but underneath, it's heavy with hidden, fake energy. To everyone else, this looks like a superpower, a rare gift, the ability to read people before they even speak. But the truth is, this isn't a superpower, it's a psychological trap. Because your brain has no off switch. Even after you leave the room, it keeps replaying everything. You can't simply enjoy the moment, because your mind is always collecting evidence. Hours later, your body is home, but your mind is still inside that room, replaying every tiny detail until 3 in the morning.
Today, we're going to decode the hidden mechanics behind the over-aware mind. Why do some people become over-aware? The answer begins long before adulthood.
For some people, it's an inborn trait. Psychology calls it sensory processing sensitivity.
For them, the world has always been experienced in high resolution. Every sound, every expression, every tiny... But for others, over-awareness wasn't a gift. It was a survival skill.
Psychologists have a name for this state: hypervigilance.
Your brain never learned safety. It learned prediction. Every footstep, every voice, every silence became important. Without realizing it, your nervous system stayed on guard for years. That survival shield doesn't disappear. It quietly follows you into adulthood. It becomes your default setting. Always watching. Always preparing.
Sign number 1. Constant analysis mode.
For most people, a simple message from their boss means a meeting, nothing more. But for you, those 4 words trigger a completely different chain reaction. A chain reaction.
Your mind immediately starts searching for hidden meanings that may not even exist. You analyze the wording, the punctuation, even the exact time the message was sent, every single detail.
While everyone else moves on, your mind is still solving a mystery that may never have existed. This isn't intelligence. It's survival software running in the background. Your brain isn't asking, what happened? It's asking, what could go wrong next? That's why your body tenses, even when there's no real danger in front of you. Eventually, overthinking stops feeling like a choice. It becomes your personality. Then something small happens, and your mind turns it into something enormous. Your imagination fills in the blanks, and it almost always predicts the worst.
That's exhausting, because your brain never truly gets to rest.
And that's only the beginning, because the battle isn't just outside your mind, it's inside it. This is where the brain's default mode network quietly takes control. Even when you're resting, your mind refuses to stop working. Instead of recovering,
your brain starts reviewing every conversation again. That's why relaxation feels unfamiliar. Because your brain mistakes calm for vulnerability. You don't just experience your thoughts. You begin watching yourself think. Half of you is enjoying the conversation. The other half is quietly taking notes.
Did I laugh too loudly? Did I sound strange? The questions never stop.
The moment passes for everyone else, but your brain keeps replaying it. Replay, again and again. Then something else begins to happen. You stop reading situations and start absorbing them. Someone walks into the room carrying stress, and somehow you leave carrying it too. Psychology calls this emotional empathy. It feels less like understanding and more like carrying.
Your mind becomes a sponge, soaking up emotions it was never meant to keep.
A friend tells you about their pain, and somehow it stays with you long after they leave. Days later, you're still carrying emotions that never belonged to you. Eventually, your emotional tank runs empty, even though you never stopped giving. And then, your own body starts speaking, a language your brain misunderstands. Psychologists call this interoception, your awareness of what's happening inside your body. 1 cup of coffee, and suddenly your heart starts beating a little faster. A calm brain ignores it, but a hypervigilant brain hears an alarm. Your nervous system whispers, something is wrong, even when nothing is.
Your brain searches through old survival memories, looking for proof that danger is coming.
A faster heartbeat becomes evidence. A deep breath becomes suspicion. Normal becomes danger.
Within seconds, fear creates more fear. The cycle feeds itself.
The strategy that once protected you slowly becomes the thing keeping you trapped. So, is there a way out? Yes, but it isn't by becoming less aware. The goal isn't to stop noticing. It's to stop carrying everything you notice.
Healthy boundaries don't make you cold. They simply protect your peace.
Not every silence hides a secret. Sometimes, silence is simply silence.
Not every delayed text is rejection. Sometimes, people are simply living their own lives.
Not every serious face is about you. Sometimes, people are fighting battles you'll never see. The moment you stop assuming, your mind finally has room to breathe. Let your mind to breathe.
Awareness becomes a gift, only when it's guided by peace instead of fear.
You don't have to solve every mystery to live a peaceful life. Sometimes, the healthiest answer is simply, real peace begins when you stop fighting thoughts that were never your enemy. The goal isn't to stop thinking. It's to stop believing that every thought deserves your attention. You don't have to chase certainty. Most of life was never meant to be completely understood.
Some people will misunderstand you. That doesn't mean you've done something wrong.
Healing begins the moment you stop treating every feeling like an emergency. Not every uncomfortable feeling is a warning. Sometimes, It's simple.
Your nervous system learned to expect danger. Now, you must gently teach it that safety exists too.
Healing isn't forgetting the past. It's realizing that the past doesn't have to control today. The strongest people aren't those who notice everything. They're the ones who know what to let go of. Not every silence hides rejection. Sometimes, people are simply busy living their own lives. You are allowed to observe the world without carrying the weight of every emotion inside it.
Peace isn't found by controlling people. It's found by trusting yourself, even when life feels uncertain.
The moment you stop fearing every possibility, your mind finally remembers how to rest.
Freedom begins the moment you realize not every thought deserves your belief. You can notice someone's sadness without making it your responsibility to fix. The goal isn't to stop feeling deeply. It's to stop drowning in every emotion you encounter. Because real strength isn't found in constant alertness. It's found in knowing when to finally relax. The world becomes lighter the moment you stop carrying battles that were never yours to fight. Notice the feeling, acknowledge it, then let it pass without following it everywhere.
Because peace isn't the absence of thoughts, it's the ability to stop obeying every single one.
And maybe, for the first time in years, you'll finally experience what quiet truly feels like. For so long, your mind believed that constant vigilance was the price of survival.
But healing teaches your brain a different truth. Safety doesn't always require control.
You don't have to predict every storm to enjoy a beautiful day.
The over-aware mind never needed more fear. It only needed permission to finally rest.
When you stop preparing for disasters that never arrive, your life finally begins. You were never meant to carry the emotional weight of an entire world. Awareness is a powerful gift, but only when it's guided by peace instead of fear. Because the strongest mind every danger, it's the one that knows when to let go. Your mind was designed to experience life, not just survive it. The moment you stop fighting every thought, your nervous system finally learns what peace feels like. You don't need to read between every line. Sometimes the words are exactly what they seem. Real freedom begins the moment you stop believing that every uncomfortable feeling is a warning. You don't have to solve every mystery. Some questions are meant to remain unanswered. The strongest version of you isn't constantly alert. It's peacefully present.
Healing doesn't happen when the world becomes quieter. It happens when your mind finally does.
Your greatest strength isn't noticing every hidden danger. It's knowing which ones deserve your attention. Imagine how much energy returns when your brain finally stops searching for threats that don't exist. Peace begins the moment you stop treating every silence like a hidden message. The world didn't suddenly become safer. Your mind simply stopped imagining danger everywhere. The most peaceful people, they're the ones who stop trying to control everything. Your thoughts may ask for your attention, but they never deserve complete control. The goal was never to silence your mind. It was to stop believing every story it tells. When you stop fighting every thought, your mind finally has room to breathe. Maybe you've spent years believing something was wrong with you, but perhaps your mind was only trying to protect. And maybe today is the first day you stop surviving and finally start living. If this video spoke to a part of you that words rarely reach, you're exactly where you belong. So, before you leave, tell me in the comments, what is one thought you're finally ready to let go of?
And if this journey helped you see yourself differently, subscribe, because we're only getting started.
Until next time, protect your peace, question your thoughts, and never stop understanding yourself.
If you're ready to understand how your mind really works, your next journey starts right here.
Because understanding yourself changes everything.
Sometimes, the strongest mind isn't the loudest one. It's the one that finally finds peace.
Thank you for spending these moments with us. Take care of your mind, because it's the only place you'll live for your entire life.